This is
Animal Radio, baby.
It's Animal Radio, celebrating our connection with our pets. 1-866-405-8405. The whole gang working their way into the studio. Susan Sims, animal communicator Joy Turner, Vinny Penn, dog behaviorist Vladae. Did you hear him on NPR last week? Bobbie, did you hear him?
I just cracked up because we know Vladae.
Yes, we do.
And NPR is to me the epitome of journalistic qualities.
Yes, they really are.
Not that the two didn't collide head on. I found it to be a wonderful, wonderful presentation. Vladae always does and he's a good interview. Come on, seriously.
Animal Radio's very own Vladae, the world-famous Russian dog wizard, on All Things Considered on NPR. I've actually linked to that from the Animal Radio website. I don't think Vladae knows how special that is. And I'm going to ask him when he comes in.
And that's okay, because that's NPR, come on, it's especially in this day and age of pseudo-journalists, who anyone who thinks they have a blog and a keyboard, they're not necessarily a journalist. So this is up in the real hierarchy of journalism for us.
It is.
And it just cracks me up that Vladae made it.
And then he works here at Animal Radio. That's what really blows me away.
I know. Is he going to remember us little people when he gets, really
big movie contracts and all that? Hey, if you want to talk to Vladae, yeah, we do. You do, don't you? Hey, hold on to those. We may need those.
I will.
Okay. If you want to talk to Vladae before he defects from Animal Radio, give us a call at 1-866-405-8405. Also, Dr. Debbie answering your vet medical question. She is the Animal Radio vet, not just a doctor that comes in here every weekend. She actually takes care of all the Animal Radio animals, and so we wanted to help you if you have a problem there. Or if you just want to check in, we're here for you. We all have our own animals. You have Slater over there, Slater, and
Slater doesn't even belong to me. He lives
like a
next
neighbor
door.
Cat. You're trying out a Slater locator, a GPS device.
It's from Paw. It's the Spotlight GPS Pet Locator, and they got a really nice write-up a couple weeks ago from the LA Times. And this is the coolest. It's a little GPS device, and it's small enough to fit on the collar of this huge cat. Okay. Because Slater is he's got to be 14 or 15 pounds, and he's not fat. He's just huge.
It's designed for a dog, though, right?
It is really, yeah. They basically designed it for an animal 10 pounds or more. Well, so it qualifies for Slater. Yeah, so what I'm trying to do this week is actually get a picture of him while he's wearing it, but he likes to play with it when I put it on his collar. So it's so cool.
Have you put it to the test yet?
Yes, we have, and it is so user-friendly. You can, once you log in and sign it up, you can have it send alerts to your cell phone, your fax, your email, if your pet goes outside of the designated radius.
What about Twitter?
And it's just very, very high-tech. Well, see, so far he hasn't gone out of the radius, so we were thinking of taking him on a little car ride to test it.
Well, you got to do it.
Well, it's true.
I think we give honest, transparent opinion of every item that comes through these studio doors.
And so far, we're liking the Spotlight GPS locator. It's a very cool tool for pet owners.
We'll list a little bit about this product up at the website. We do pet product reviews. You can check that out at animalradio.com. Does anyone turn off the studio phone during the show? We ought to do that. I'm just thinking.
Isn't that Julio's job? He needs to be fired.
It's Guido, and that's why he looks at you funny every time, because he thinks, You want to get it?
I don't know. I'll make it.
Hello!
Be Elaine Bougler. She calls a lot, and just she likes to shoot the breeze with us, and then sometimes Jim Neighbors from the grave will call us.
Let me put you on hold.
Okay. That's just a little scary, Hal.
Judy putting someone on hold right now. They want to get on with Joy?
I don't have time now.
Animal communicator Joy Turner?
We'd have to go to it right now. We haven't even done Bobbie. Then
Okay.
I don't have
I don't know what I did. I took her out to dinner for her birthday. And I was really nice to her.
Did you not get her something sparkly, Hal?
All kinds of sparkly things. Every day I get her something sparkly.
All right. I don't know what to tell you. Try putting something in her drink.
You know what I just found out? That if you feed your dog, your 20-pound dog, one hot dog, because we all feed them junk food. If you feed them one hot dog, that it's equivalent to a person consuming 3 entire hamburgers and 2 whole chocolate bars.
Sammy the cat is a junk food kitty, I have to admit. I know it's not good for him, and I look at them, I say, I can't give it to you because Hal will yell at me.
One potato chip for your cat is equivalent to what, Judy?
It's the caloric equivalent of 1/2 of a hamburger or 1/2 of a chocolate bar.
Just one chip?
Just one little potato chip.
They get a little teen-tight taste, that's it. And I know it's bad, I'll stop.
Stop it.
This is
Animal Radio. This is
Animal Radio.
One 405-8405 to get in touch with any one of the Dream Team. Check in today. Happy Rosh Hashanah.
Thank you.
And I know you're...
And bless you. What is that?
Yes.
What is that?
It's the Jewish New Year, actually, by the way.
And isn't it also, are we done with Ramadan? Is Ramadan still going?
I
don't know.
I'm not keeping track this year.
I'm a pagan, so I don't follow this
You don't
stuff.
follow any of it. You don't have any holidays whatsoever, huh?
Oh, no, we have lots of holidays. Whenever there's a full moon, it's a holiday.
Listen, we have the Animal Radio Summer Giveaway. There's like, how many days left? It's 19, 29. So we have 11 days left.
Yeah, you got to hurry up and get entered now.
Sign up.
You can sign up 5 times every day per household at animalradio.com, or we'll give you a chance before the end of the show today to call in and get qualified for that. Great prizes from Celestron, Bissell, and Disney, and a whole bunch more. Check it out at animalradio.com to get all the rules and details and all that good stuff. Plus, you can look for adoptable animals. Story about that in just a minute. Amazing agency, adoption shelter near Fresno, California.
Oh, God, I went out there. It's awesome.
I'll tell you about that in just a couple of seconds. What are you working on, Bobbie?
We're going to take a look in our news. Very special animal research has shown monkeys like Metallica.
Monkeys like Metallica?
Monkeys like Metallica.
You didn't test this theory, did you?
Well, no, not me personally, but real honest-to-God researchers did. So you know it must be true.
Okay, that's all coming up in the news in just a couple of minutes. We all think we have the best animal around. I know Slater, the Slater locator, that whole dealie with Bobbie, she just thinks that's the most awesome kitty around.
Well, I know I have the best dog.
Well, your dog,
so.
you're training to do all kinds of tricks. That's amazing.
She has a whole routine of about 5 different tricks now that
What are the tricks?
She sits, she shakes, she takes a bow, she touches my hands, and if I put my arms in a loop and tell her to jump, she jumps through my arms.
Wow. Did you have to hire a trainer to learn all this?
No, not with her. She learns it like on the 2 or 3 tries, and she's got it down. I just think this dog would be amazing if she was with somebody who knew what they were doing.
Now, I understand you're entering a contest at a local Petco. Is that correct?
Yes, coming up in October, they're having a best pet trick, and we're going to enter the contest. We don't even know what the prize is. We don't even care.
You just want the title.
We want the title and the bragging.
You want to win. I'm for that.
You have a lot of animals around there, too, and I imagine that they're probably the best, huh, Doc?
Mine are wonderful dogs. They know how to fetch. They know how to swim. But they're not really very useful beyond that. They're great friends. That's the best thing about them.
I think that's the most important thing, is that you have a great friendship and relationship with your animals, because they give you that unconditional love. 1-866-405-8405. Hi, Judy.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Where are you calling from today?
I'm in Leslie, Arkansas.
Leslie, Arkansas. Okay. How can we help you?
I've got a Great Dane puppy, and I get a lot of conflicting information on how to feed him.
Mm-hmm.
So I wondered if you could help me.
Okay, yeah. Are you just, in general, what kind of feeding guidelines, because he's a Great Dane?
Because she is Sadie, and because she's a Great Dane, I've had people tell me that some people say you should supplement calcium, some people say you shouldn't. Some people say you want to be very careful how much protein you give them, because you don't want them to overgrow themselves and give them bone problems like hip dysplasia.
Yeah, some basic general guidelines I can give. Actually, any large breed dog owner, especially when they're puppies, we do recommend large breed diets. And the idea with that is that it allows a more gradual growth, and we don't have real rapid growth bursts. And that can help minimize some of those developmental problems like hip dysplasia, some of the other growth disorders with elbows and so forth. So yeah, I do recommend that. Now, as far as Great Danes, always kind of throw a little extra fun in the mix, because, they are a breed we're a little extra cautious about with some things diet related. So they're definitely, because of their risk of some of the GI problems, if you're familiar with the condition bloat.
Yes, well, just barely. I mean, my sister told me a couple days ago about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and bloat is basically a condition in dogs. It can happen in any breed dog, but we see it more in large breed breed, especially deep-chested breeds where the stomach gets kind of filled up, gassy, it flips on itself and becomes a very urgent emergency problem where they can't vomit and they can go into shock, and it's very fatal if not treated surgically. So because of that risk with Great Danes, they can get about 40% of Great Danes can get this problem. So it is a huge concern. Some food-related things I'd say. Used to be old thought is we wanted to elevate their food bowls. And that's not really the case. They find that that can actually increase the risk of bloat in dogs. So we don't want to really use those elevated tiers for the large breeds. And I like to make sure we keep a good, healthy protein level, but we don't necessarily want to give excessive amounts to a Great Dane. As far as the fat content in food, they have done some research and found that Great Danes or large breed dogs with bloat, if they have high fat in their food, they are more prone to having this problem. So that's even yet another thing. But I would definitely make sure with Great Danes or any large breed, we do frequent meals. So we don't want to have one big meal in the day. Spread it out over a couple meals for the day. That's good for digestive health as well as to prevent things like bloat. Those are some basic things. Do you feed him dry food or a canned food?
Dry food.
And that's kind of another interesting thing. In most cases, we say dry food is the best thing to go for. But with dogs, large breeds with the bloat potential, we actually do recommend to add canned food into the mix of things because an all-kibble diet actually increases the risk of bloat in these large breed dogs. So that might be another thing for you to kind of consider. And it's sometimes hard to feed like all canned food to a dog that's 150 pounds, so not too many people do that realistically. But it would be a good reason to incorporate that into her diet.
Okay. What about the surgery that they do for bloat?
Yes, the prophylactic gastropexy. And it's basically a preventative surgery where we go in and we surgically tack or kind of tether the stomach to the body wall. That is recommended, and ideally we try to do that at the time of spaying or neutering, or at some other time, even preventatively it can be done. But they have found that has been in at-risk breeds, it's been very valuable. So breeds like the Great Dane, Weimaraners, Standard Poodles, and Rottweilers particularly will be good candidates to do this preventative surgery. So yeah, I would be a fan of that for her.
And what is a good age to have them spayed or neutered? I can't remember which is which.
Most times we'll do that at about 6 months of age, depending on your veterinarian. And as far as some of them want them a little bit older because they feel that everything in the abdomen is for the stomach surgery is a little bit more mature. But generally 6 months should be good.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Isn't part of the bloat thing when they eat too fast? Don't you want to try to have them eat slower?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That is definitely one of the other risk factors, eating fast. It used to be thought that, if they eat and they go run and exercise, that increased their risk. But some of the studies actually show that, it's not so much the activity after, but dogs that eat fast, older dogs, bloat is more common, deep-chested, actually, believe it or not, nervous dogs. So if your dog has kind of an anxiety, nervous potential, those pets have a little bit higher risk of developing bloat than the calm, laid-back, couch potato type dog. Wow. Interesting stuff, huh?
Yeah. 1-866-405-8405 to talk to Dr. Debbie or Vladae, the world-famous Russian dog wizard, Vinnie Penn, animal communicator Jory Turner, Susan Sims or Bobbie, Britt, Dr. Jim Humphreys. The whole gang is here this morning. It seems like we've, I guess it's the free donuts. Is it the free donuts?
That helps.
You could also ask us a question during the week. Head on over to the website at animalradio.com.
This portion of Animal Radio is brought to you by Safeguard Canine Dewormer. Did you know that your dog could have intestinal worms even if he's on a heartworm prevention program? For more complete protection, deworm your dog twice a year with broad-spectrum Safeguard Canine Dewormer. To find out more, visit www.safeguardfordogs.com.
Okay, time to check out that website I heard about, www.safeguardfordogs.com. There it is.
Hi, I'm Dawn.
The virtual host is a nice touch.
Roxy.
It looks like these links and videos cover everything a dog owner might want to know about intestinal worm infections and how to prevent them. Here's a savings coupon for Safeguard Canine Dewormers, and even an online reminder service. Better bookmark this one, www.safeguardfordogs.com.
Hi, I'm Ken Schrader. In race car driving, seconds can win a race.
But to win the race against pet overpopulation, you need to understand the importance of spaying or neutering your pets. Every few seconds, hundreds of dogs and cats are put down in our country. Help fix the problem. I urge you to spay or neuter your pets. To find out how, visit pets911.com or call 1-888-PETS911 today.
For more information, go to pets911.com. Proud to be a partner of Animal Radio.
When I went looking for a quality allergen-free dog food for Roscoe, a friend told me about canine caviar. Being a born skeptic, I examined every ingredient and, most importantly, made sure it drove our dog's taste buds crazy. Here's the lowdown. Canine caviar is holistic, allergen-free, with raw dehydrated meats, herbs, fish oil, and flaxseed for health and joint support. Good food for Roscoe from a company I can trust. Ask your pet store for canine caviar. Learn more at caninecaviar.com.
Animal Radio is brought to you by...
One Shot Plus Multi-Purpose Cleaner attacks everyday stains, pet stains, crayon marks, mildew. One shot and it's gone. Call 1-800-874-7070 or go to oneshotplus.com to get yours now.
This is
Animal Radio.
That's strange. Very strange. It's Animal Radio. Bobbie working on a story now about monkeys and Metallica. I want to know what other Animal Radio show is working on a monkey Metallica story right now.
I don't think there are too many, Hal.
No.
I think that
Only
we can
us.
say this is an exclusive story.
Exclusive there. And of course,
Right, whether it be Fade to Black, Don't Tread on Me, or Creeping Death.
You see, you do know
Monkeys
your
like
Metallica.
Metallica.
Telling me you don't know Metallica. 1-866-405-8405. Dr. Debbie answering your vet medical questions. Vladae, the world famous Russian dog wizard, animal communicator Joy Turner on the way. Also a great guest coming up. First of all, not a lot of people know that Judy here, she's overcome a lot of adversity in her life. She was born...
Mostly you? Oh, sorry.
I'm just going to tell listeners, she was born without a head. And going through life without a head is kind of tough. But she has... It is. It's you had food problems, eating problems.
Yeah.
The problems you would think you would have.
Yeah.
She has
problems.
done a great job producing Animal Radio. She's overcome this adversity and really used it to her benefit to make the #1 animal talk show in America. And there's a guest that's coming on in a few minutes. She has a black cat who is blind. And this cat's been blind its whole life. It's overcome a lot of adversity, and she has too. She's been told no her whole life. Mm-hmm. And but she didn't stop when she was told no.
Nope.
She'll be joining us in just a few minutes. We'll also get you qualified for the summer giveaway. Prizes from Celestron, Bissell, Disney, Litter Robot, World's Best Cat Litter, and Haagen-Dazs. All the details over at the website, animalradio.com.
Ice cream.
We do have ice cream left, don't we, Bobbie? You didn't eat all the ice cream
Not
we were going
anymore.
to give away. We'll have to get more, and that's coming out of my paycheck. As you said. Is Michael Vick still in the news there?
Oh, you mean the convicted dog killer?
Yes.
Yeah, my suggestion, my personal opinion, and I came up with this because I don't think that the reaction has quite been proper enough to welcome him back into the real world after his sentencing and his time has been served. My personal opinion is if you happen to see Michael Vick on the street somewhere, just go to him and start barking at him.
What can he do, right?
Growl.
Seriously, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Just bark at him.
Why don't you Twitter that to everyone? How's the Twitter going? You Twittering?
Twitter's awesome. Twitter loves us, and we love Twitter. We've got lots of followers. In just a couple weeks we've been there, we're already over 100.
Oh, good.
Which is a good number, Hal.
And you're helping out with the fires that were in Los Angeles?
We did. We retweeted a lot of information about how people could go to the Pasadena Humane Society, which is pasadenahumane.org. They needed volunteers. They needed a lot of people to help with the animals. They housed over 300 animals during that evacuation.
Oh, wow.
And they were very successful at it because they've got experience at it. So Twitter was a great tool to use. A lot of people were using it during the fires and the evacuations. And the animal rescue groups have jumped on it, and they're being very, very intelligent about helping people out by using social media.
If you want to follow us on Twitter, head on over to twitter.com/animalradio. And, of course, we'll link to that from the very front of the Animal Radio website. Look for the Twitter logo. Bobbie's the head Twitterer here. That's
I'm the head twit.
And we mean that in the nicest of ways, Bobbie.
Oh, sure you do.
Oh, boy. Sometimes people are crazy. Dogs are okay, that's for sure.
Okay, if you don't mind, I'm just going to go ahead and set the scene here. Ladybug, the studio stunt dog, sleeping in front of the prize closet, which contains a Celestron spotting scope, binoculars, Abyssal deep cleaning pet vacs, Disney goodies, including passes to Disney's Animal Kingdom, a litter robot, Haagen-Dazs ice cream. Did you ladies
I'm on that, man.
Did anybody leave any Haagen-Dazs left for the listeners?
I think so. I think there's,
Gotta save some for the package here, okay? Also,
can I have my spoon back, please?
World's best cat litter, premium cat litter, a year's supply, all of this part of the Animal Radio Super Summer giveaway. Head on over to animalradio.com to get signed up for it right now. We'll get you qualified before the end of the show. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I always do that.
You always throw your...
Kleenex.
Use Kleenex.
Use Kleenex. Thank you for cleaning that up.
Yes.
Hi, Shelton. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
Very good. How can we help you today?
Well, I've got a dilemma. I've got a Brittany Spaniel that he last year about this time he got tetanus.
Ooh.
Okay.
I didn't catch it. I was out of town, and my wife took him to an emergency vet. It was like his head was like he had run into the fence or something and had a crick in his neck. And the emergency vet just treated him generally. And then by the time I got home a week later, I saw the sardonic smile, and he was having tremors and what have you. And we got him back to the vet and got him on a good antibiotic.
Okay.
It seems to be recurring every now and then. Although we've had him on antibiotics for 2 and 3 months at a stretch at times. The next one.
Okay. That's a little strange.
So, yeah, it is, and I've read all I can read about it, and I understand that the toxins bind to the nerve endings or something. So he so what happens is he still has the tremors occasionally, and it gets worse occasionally.
Okay, yeah, that is kind of unusual.
And having a relapse on the. Can you have a relapse on tetanus?
Not typically, no. And just to back up for a minute, with tetanus, we kind of know that in the human world as lockjaw. And it's basically, the disease is caused by a bacteria called Clostridium. And we see that where there's a puncture wound. This little organism lives in the soil, so if there's some kind of wound that gives it an entry into the animal's body, then we can get this problem. It's not terribly common. We never see it in cats, rarely in dogs. So you're in an unfortunate situation here with your little baby, because it really isn't all that commonly seen. Now, I got to ask you, when this first happened originally, was there a wound? Was there some kind of puncture that we could identify within about a week or two before this?
Right. So is there anything we can do with the... I'm sorry, say that again, the tetanus...
I was wondering if when he had the original bout of tetanus, if there was an actual wound that we knew about at that time.
No, we couldn't find anything.
Okay. Because it really is very unusual. Most dogs with tetanus, once we get them on a good antibiotic, a good penicillin or metronidazole, they have that initial treatment, and it may last about 7 days. Some lingering effects maybe for a month, but after that, we should be done and over with. There shouldn't be a sustained problem. Now, up to almost 25% of the cases of tetanus in dogs can actually be from something like a foxtail wound. And if you are seeing an on-again, off-again problem, then that might be something I would direct you to make sure we're really looking very hard, because those kind of wounds are very small. Sometimes they can be a chronic wound between the toes. in certain areas. But there really shouldn't be an easy explanation that I could tell you why tetanus would reoccur unless we have still have a festering wound of some sort. And then otherwise, I guess the long-term effects, is there possible damage to the neurologic system? I cannot say that I've ever read or heard of any long-term effects. As far as now, is he having seizures or anything like that?
Not necessarily seizures, but his right left side is affected, especially his left hind leg. I mean, it's almost like a scratching motion.
Okay.
And, in fact, he's always, even as a puppy, scratched his left side. But you'll see his legs start. We started to call him Thumper because it'll just, he could be laying there and it'll start thumping. If he gets excited, it happens. We did have him on the Metro. I forget how you say the word.
Metronitis.
Yes, we had him on that antibiotic, and and then I read something that it can cause cancerous tumors in animals. So after about a month, we took him off of that, and now he's it's on and off on Cipro and what have you, trying to. We're just afraid he'll get full-blown tetanus again because it gets very strange. It's affected him neurologically, from even a personality standpoint. Mm-hmm. But the foxtail, I don't know that, I guess we have it, but, he's always in our backyard. We rarely take him out in the field anymore.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And, occasionally it's more when we're battling a dog that has the tetanus actually active. Sometimes we will use like muscle relaxants, such as methylcarbamol. So something like that I can see. But yeah, I'm just a little puzzled as why we're having more of a long-term thing here with your baby. Unless, we've got some other little kind of a seizure disorder, or something else going on, if we did sustain some damage to something in the back end. So I'm going to kind of scratch my head here a little bit, Shelton. And as far as I'm assuming your vet's working diligently to try to figure this out, but it might really warrant kind of looking at that area on his spine a little bit more and really looking for any evidence of a chronic wound or any kind of area where we could explain that this happened from. But
that's our vet has only seen 2 cases in 30 years.
Yeah, it's not common. It really is not. And fortunately, animals are fairly resistant to the effects of tetanus. And in a lot of cases, some of these wounds that they sustain, we notice them, we treat them, they get on antibiotics. So it's not always a concern or a cause of alarm. So you've got an unusual baby there, Shelton, and I wish you the best of luck with him. Hopefully, we'll find some results and get our baby back to normal there. So best wishes to you, and thank you for calling. This is Dr. Debbie at 1-866-405-8405.
The whole gang is here. Dr. Debbie answering your vet medical questions. Vladae, the world-famous Russian dog wizard, Vinnie Penn, animal communicator Joey Turner waiting to bridge the gap, if there is one. Susan Sims from Fido Friendly talking about travel with your pet. And Bobbie, she's working on news right now.
What is she working on?
She's surveying people to find out whether or not if they saw a dog locked in a car, a hot car, if they would break the window to get the dog out.
What would they do?
What would they do? What would you do? 1-866-405-8405. Dr. Debbie, what would you do if you saw
I think I might throw a rock through the window.
Even if it could get you in civil, criminal trouble?
I guess I got the background that I could say I'm a vet, and I thought the animal was in a medical crisis, so I think I could fall on that one.
I like that.
You're listening to Animal Radio. You can learn more about today's guest at animalradio.com. Log on. Learn more.
This is an Animal Radio News Update.
I'm Bobbie Hill for Animal Radio. Convicted dog killer and reinstated NFL quarterback Michael Vick began fulfilling his deal with the Humane Society by bringing a, quote, end dog fighting message to a group of kids. Anti-dogfighting advocate Tio Hardiman said of Vick's talk to youths in Chicago, quote, he told them what he did was something they shouldn't follow, end quote, and went on to describe the quarterback as struggling with emotions as he spoke. ASPCA President Ed Sayers, who wasn't particularly convinced of Vic's change of heart during a 60 Minutes interview, said, quote, CBS did a grave disservice to the animal welfare community by failing to show the ugly truth of Mr. Vic's actions and the horrors of dog fighting and animal cruelty in this country. Monkeys like Metallica. It's fact. It's true according to a new study from the Royal Society Biology Letters. While the study showed animals usually prefer sounds of their own kind or just plain silence, it showed monkeys liked Metallica. The primates reacted very calmly to the metal music, which surprised the researchers. However, according to the study, there's no explanation as to why the monkeys like the metal. And here are a few popular cat myths that we can debunk for you. Myth number 1, cats are immune to rabies. Wrong. Cats can carry rabies just like dogs and should be vaccinated. 2, if a cat loses its whiskers, it'll lose its sense of balance. Again, wrong. Cats use their whiskers as feelers, not for balance, but you should never cut or pull a cat's whiskers.
Didn't you do that, Judy, once when you were a kid?
No, my little sister.
Your little sister
she cut off all the cat's whiskers.
What did it lose its
She
way
trimmed
around?
them?
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, she trimmed them real short.
Don't do it, but
what's number 3?
That's it. Number 3 is cats eat grass if they're sick. That's wrong. While veterinarians still aren't sure why cats scarf down grass, they say don't panic if your cat nibbles from time to time on the lawn. Research does show, amazingly enough, that some animals just like to eat grass. I'm Bobbie Hill for Animal Radio. Get more breaking animal news at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update.
Probably some study that was funded by our millions of tax dollars.
Do you owe too much money on your credit cards? Do you have over $12,000 in debt and don't know how you'll pay it off? I have a proven program that can help solve your debt problems. I'm Ted Brower, founder of Debt Settlement USA. Credit card debt can cause serious financial hardship, especially if you have loss of income, you're going through a divorce, or you have costly medical bills. Before things get worse, call Debt Settlement USA. We'll show you how to get rid of your debt faster than you think, without bankruptcy and without taking out another loan. Just call Debt Settlement USA right now for a free consultation. Your call is confidential and there's no obligation.
Call Debt Settlement USA at 1-888-551-7788. If you're having trouble with credit card debt, call right now. Call 1-888-551-7788. That's 888-551-7788.
Hey, this is Davy Jones here on Animal Radio. Just want to say look after those animals because they look after you. Have a great time. See you soon. Bye.
This is
Animal Radio, baby.
All I can say is it's a good thing this is radio. Certainly Dr. Debbie doesn't look like a doctor today in that shirt. Bedazzled. I'm sorry, you don't. I wouldn't even want to explain to what she just said to me.
She knows sign language. I didn't know that.
1-866-405-8405. You yourself, you dress like this normally, Bobbie. So it doesn't.
That's why I'm in radio.
We're a motley crew. Good thing we're on this side of the microphone. But if you want to talk to the doc or the Vladae, and Vladae, I got to say, he used to wear this stitched shirt that says Vladae on it.
His name, everything on it.
Not this week. He's got kind of a silk shirt on.
He got lost.
Ever since he was on NPR a couple weeks back, he's.
I know he's gotten all respectable now.
Yeah, what is that about? Kind of.
I don't know. He better knock it off.
We get a lot of dog calls here. And people say you tend to be dog-centric. And really, we take whatever calls we can get. We talk about iguanas. We talk about turkeys. We talk about...
skunks, raccoons,
horses, bunnies.
And, of course, Animal Radio was founded by a cat. And so we love the felines. It's great after seeing Marley and Me and A Little Big Life. All these books come out that are entangling stories about the dogs. That a cat novel is out now. And when I say novel, it's not a fiction. It's a true story called Homer's Odyssey, and it's about a black cat that's blind. We have the author on the phone,
Gwen Cooper.
Hi, Gwen. I'm sorry.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Very good. I love Homer's Odyssey. Great.
Oh, thank you so much.
Tell us about your cat.
My cat Homer, who is still alive, so I will just get that right out there, that this is not...
There you go. Get the goose news
pet
first.
book that ends with the death of the beloved pet.
Okay, good to know.
He's actually hanging with me right now as I talk to you. Homer is 13 years old, and he is blind. He's always been blind.
From birth?
He had a very bad... He was a stray kitten who was found at 2 weeks of age with a very bad eye infection, and it was progressed enough that even at that point, there was nothing that could be done to save his vision. And
he has never seen at all.
He has never seen it all. I would say he does not know he's blind, and we do not tell him.
Good.
So,
Sure. Well, how does he react?
You just have to be that way.
That's secret in show business.
Yeah.
And, so he's never been able to see. And so, I always say he really has no idea that there is such a thing as vision. And in his world, I'm just omniscient because I always know what he's up to.
Does he have trouble getting around?
No, he gets around completely fine. You would never know that he was blind to see him running around.
Are his other senses enhanced?
Absolutely. My husband always compares him to Daredevil, the Marvel comic superhero who's blind, who has these superpower other senses.
Yes.
That is Homer. Homer can tell the difference between a can of tuna and a can of tomato soup while they're still in the can. While the can is sealed. And his
amazing.
Hearing and balance are just really unbelievable. And he does not bump into things.
Now, how did you end
Part
up
of that reason?
Yes, because what you were just...
If I can throw that in there, Gwen, is cats are actually very in tune with the magnetic fields of the earth. And that's part of the way they...
I was going to say, that is actually something I did not know, but his whiskers are certainly extraordinary.
It's one of the cat myths, yes.
Okay. Am I wrong in thinking that his whiskers help him out a lot?
No, they do.
You are absolutely correct, Gwen.
Yeah, no, it definitely gives him a sense of where solid objects are around him that he's not necessarily touching.
Right. Think of them as curb feelers.
Right, exactly.
How did you end up with Homer?
Homer was found on the streets of Miami as a 2-week-old kitten, as I said, and he was brought to my veterinarian by a couple who was planning to adopt him, but when they found out he was going to be blind, felt that he should be put to sleep. They thought that, what kind of a life would he live? In fairness, they thought it was the more humane thing. And my vet felt that there was no reason why, especially a kitten who had never been able to see, that there was no reason why he couldn't live a happy and healthy and full life. So she treated his condition and set about trying to find a home for him. And she called everybody on her list. She took out ads. She hit up friends from veterinary school, and nobody wanted to take this cat home. And she couldn't take him home because she had a toddler who's allergic to cats. So she was really getting sort of desperate, and it was a point in my life. I was 24 years old. I had just ended a long-term relationship with the man who I'd been living with. I thought we were going to get married, and we didn't. So I was staying in a friend's spare bedroom with the 2 cats I already had, and it was not necessarily an ideal time for me to take on a third cat. But when my vet called with this story, I was, of course, in tears by the end of it. And I believe what I said is, I'll come in and meet him, but I'm not promising anything. And as we all know, I mean, that's basically the yes. Yeah. That is, once you come in and meet him, you've said yes. And,
but you've learned some big-time life lessons from this whole thing about adversity, huh?
Yeah, no, absolutely. The thing that struck me about Homer from the second that I met him, as I said, I was going through this very tough period in my life. I was broke. I was heartbroken. I was staying in a friend's spare bedroom. I didn't even have, my own roof over my head. And, when I was young and I was inclined to be very sort of, melodramatic about my own sorrows. And I met Homer, and he was this kitten who had a very rough early few weeks. And he was just happy. He was just a really happy, cheerful, loving kitten from the second that I picked him up. And he made me very ashamed of myself for my own self-pity. And I just had the sense that any cat who made me want to be a better person within 5 minutes of meeting him was a cat who was destined to live an extraordinary life. And I just wanted to be a part of it.
Now, you had to warn your dates when you were single, when you would bring guys home, and I started reading the book, and he actually the cat greeted you at the door when you brought your first date home, and he had something in his mouth?
Yeah, this is wow. That's, right in on this story. See, just to set this up where you have to imagine, so the cat, in addition to being blind, his eyes had to be surgically removed when he was 3 weeks old.
Aww,
and the lids were sutured shut, so there are plenty of pictures of him in the book. It is not gruesome looking at all. But Homer went through this phase where he was very into playing with tampons. They roll around and they have a string on the end, and it's sort of a perfect cat toy. And I would try to hide them in places where he couldn't get them, but he is a crafty little guy. He can climb things. He opens cabinets, and no matter where I put them, he would find them.
Oh no!
So Chloe Kitty used to do that.
Right. So I came home with a date, and you just have to get the mental image of this eyeless black cat running around with a tampon in his mouth. And this guy must have been convinced that he'd wandered into Hannibal Lecter's house. You know? I mean, I always say, had I turned to him and said, it puts the lotion in the basket, he probably would have not been surprised. Did
you see him again?
No, actually, I did not. I mean, which was fine. Probably for the best. Yeah. But certainly a startling visual image to walk into someone's house.
All of this chronicled in Homer's Odyssey, A Fearless Feline Tale, or How I Learned About Love, Life with a Blind Wonder Cat, a memoir by Gwen Cooper. Homer's Odyssey, not the one that you probably read in high school.
No, not the Odyssey by Homer.
Yes,
Homer's Odyssey.
Much different, about a very special blind cat who's still alive, and a great book. I'm going to give away 10 copies right now to 10 lucky listeners at 1-866-405-8405. If you don't get through, check out the Bantam Dell label, Homer's Odyssey. The author, Gwen, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
More Animal Radio on the way.
When I went looking for a quality allergen-free dog food for Roscoe, a friend told me about canine caviar. Being a born skeptic, I examined every ingredient and, most importantly, made sure it drove our dog's taste buds crazy. Here's the lowdown. Canine caviar is holistic, allergen-free, with raw dehydrated meats, herbs, fish oil, and flaxseed for health and joint support. Good food for Roscoe from a company I can trust. Ask your pet store for canine caviar. Learn more at caninecaviar.com.
Every once in a while, there comes along a special group of animal lovers that stands strongly in defense of the voiceless. Animal People is that newspaper for people who really care about the animals. Animal People's published 10 times yearly. The publisher is a nonprofit corporation dedicated to exposing the existence of cruelty to animals and to informing and educating you so that animal lovers worldwide can eliminate such cruelty. Your subscription is $24 a year and is 100% tax deductible. Get Animal People's fair and accurate investigative reporting from the industry watchdog. Visit our website at www.animalpeoplenews.org. That's www.animalpeoplenews.org to subscribe to the news for people who care about animals. Animal People. Subscribe today at www.animalpeoplenews.org.
Fido-friendly magazine. Perhaps you can do without it, but for kibble's sake, think of your dog. At last, a voice for us traveling canines. Until now, few have taken mobile pooches seriously. After all, who appreciates warm shelter and a comfy bed more than a dog? Fido-friendly, the travel magazine for you and your dog. A quarterly guide to Fido-friendly accommodations in the United States and Canada. Because if Fido ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Subscribe at FidoFriendly.com. Your dog will thank you. Woof.
Hi, it's Lisa Laporta from HGTV's Design to Sell for Animal Radio. Please spay and neuter your pet.
Animal Radio coming at you with the party animal. That's me, Vinnie Penn, and nice to be back here doing kind of a part 2. If you were listening to last week's installment of the party animal, you know that my daughter's goldfish Betty was either murdered or killed herself or just died of natural causes. She was a year old, maybe a little over a year, actually. It's not like we bought her and watched her hatch from a goldfish egg. Do they hatch from eggs? I don't really know. Nonetheless, my daughter has now decided what she wants her new pet to be, and it is the natural evolution. It is what you would think the next animal would be after having a goldfish, and that's a horse. Yes, a horse. I don't know where this cat. I don't even know where she thinks we're going to put it. the horse. Well, we do have a 2-car garage. I guess that's rather extravagant to a 6-year-old. There's some show she watches on the BBC where snobbish British equestrians fight over who gets to ride Calico today. Calico is my horse, Don, you mine. And now all of a sudden my daughter Stella thinks she can take care of a horse, ride a horse, when what comes out of a horse is twice the size of her. But yes, her goldfish died, and I said to her, well, we can move on. What's the next pet you would like? Are we ready? Is the family ready for a dog? I still didn't really recover from the passing of my last dog, but for my kids I will. And she's like, I think I kind of know what's next. I'm like, uh-oh, is it going to be a cat? I'm not that, I've had some friends with cats that I love, but I was a little bit worried it was going to be a cat. And she goes, a horsey. Okay, let's go down to the horse store and pick out a horse. And what's the name for it? And, of course, Stella, ever creative with her names for horses, was, well, I just said, horsey. So, yes, when the time comes and we're in the bigger house, and if this passion continues, thanks to that snobbish BBC series, Vinnie Penn, your party animal, will be the owner of Horsey the horse. See you next week.
You're listening to Animal Radio. You can learn more about today's guest at animalradio.com. Log on. Learn more.
Dogs or cats, horse or emu, animals are people too.
You smell like a pig. You might not be able to say that much longer. Purdue University scientists are trying to determine why pigs smell so much and how they can make it stop. Their research is in response to growing pressure from federal regulators, environmentalists, and rural residents sick of the stench. Linda and Perry Trader's Indiana backyard is so stinky from a nearby hog farm, they have to stay inside, never using their swimming pool. Scientists are attacking the stink where it starts. Hogs are fed experimental feeds to help change the strong sulfur and ammonia smells they leave behind. And the research is promising. Scientists say that pig farms won't ever smell great, just maybe more like cattle farms. I'm Britt Savage for Animal Radio. Animals are people too. Animal Radio.
Hi, this is Joy Behar on Animal Radio. Please spay and neuter your pets.
Animal Radio is brought to you by
One Shot Plus Multi-Purpose Cleaner attacks everyday stains, pet stains, crayon marks, mildew. One shot and it's gone. Call 1-800-874-7070 or go to oneshotplus.com to get yours now.
This is
Animal Radio.
T-minus 12 days. Get a control of the Mika there. What's going? Is that Mika? What's going on? She all upset? 12 more days.
She want to get the ball. She like a kind of. It's a Judy's Chihuahua's fault. She's staring at my dog all the time.
Hey. I think they're in love. Hey, I want to tell you, 12 more days until you can. Until the drawing for the Animal Radio Super Summer Giveaway. Prizes from Bissell, Celestron, Disney, Walt Disney in on this with some great stuff, as well as Litter Robot and Haagen-Dazs ice cream. Did I get them all? Oh, world's best cat litter with a year's supply of cat litter. All great stuff. You can sign up at the website at animalradio.com. Right now, Vladae, the world-famous Russian dog wizard, is answering your most vexing dog behavior questions. Bill, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Good. What's on your mind?
Well, I called last week and mentioned that I have a Catahoula leopard hound.
Oh, yeah.
And she is jumping the fence. Well, last week my wife bought a no-jump harness for her, and she put that harness on her. What it does, it attaches to her back legs so she can't stand up and climb the fence. Well, my wife said that she had that thing chewed off of her in 5 minutes and was out in the front yard.
Okay, Bill, you're with the world-famous Russian.
But this week she hasn't jumped the fence even once. And we had her for 3 years before she finally climbed the fence and got out.
You mean she was jumping the fence a couple of weeks ago?
I'm sorry. She was about a year old when we got her, and my wife rescued her from the street. We found her running on the street, and we couldn't find the owner at all. We put ads in the paper and called places and talked to all the vets around, and we couldn't find anybody that owned her, so we just kept her.
So, Bill, what did you do with her?
Well, we tried to catch her. At first, she wouldn't let us catch her. The only way we could catch her is if we pulled up on her in the car and opened the door. But now she got to where she would let us walk up to her and just put the leash on her. We scold her for jumping, and we tried putting some stuff in front of the fence to where she won't climb it, can't get to it, but she figured a way to push that stuff out of the way. But like I said, during this past week, she hasn't jumped it at all, or hadn't climbed it at all.
Bill, and for everyone who is hearing me right now, so what the Bill is referring to, he has a dog who likes to jump over the fence. And for everyone, thank you, Bill, for letting us know you kind of resolved your question already, and it just happened miraculously, I guess, in your situation. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people who are listening to us right now, they still having jumping situations and problems with their dogs, so they would be interested probably to hear what can we do in order to help them out. So dogs jump for the fence because of many reasons, people, and one of the reasons is they don't have a good bonding with the owner. They have a separation anxiety. They like to, it's an opposite problem. They would like to be close to the owner who may be babying them too much. Sometimes happening with the rescue dogs, because rescue dogs had a bad life, and the new owner tried to overcompensate for that bad life and create separation anxiety. It can be a confining phobia. It can be a lot of things. Whatever situation we have, we need to, number one, make sure the dog is comfortable in the backyard. And the second, make sure the dog is tired in the backyard. I like to do obedience training in the backyard, putting collar and leash, and do simple things 2 times per day. Let's go, sit, stay, calm down, make sure the dog is tired. I want to make sure the backyard has a shadow area where the dog can have some shadow area and be have a cool area so he could relax and, enjoy its life. And also I'd like to supply your dog, jumping dog, with some interactive toys, such as, especially in this summertime, a lot of toys right now provide us a possibility to fill them with water and freeze them, and the dog can just enjoy that life and run around in the backyard and play with stuff. I also like the products by company, for instance, Premier Pet. It's interactive toys. You can put a lot of cookies and kibbles inside the toys, and the dogs rotate those toys and kibbles falling down, and the dog just enjoying its life and gets busy. So this is all together, as far as feeding the dog's physical and mental needs in your backyard, will really address the cause of this problem. Now, no matter what we do, people, sometimes situation gets bad and you need to deal with the symptoms as well. In this situation, of course, the simple solution, just increase the height of the fence, and it can be done in a very cheaper way. There is a lot of possibilities to do it. Just stop by a local Home Depot store or another hardware store, talk to the experts. They will advise you what the cheapest way to perform. What I like to do in the simplest way is just basically get the stick and hang that stick on the rope a little bit higher than our waistline, and hang it next to the area where the dogs like to jump over the fence. They normally like to jump in 1-2 spots. So when they see some type of unstable stick is waving back and forth in the area where they need to jump, they quickly lose the confidence in not jumping. In other situation, in other resolution, it's special harness. It calls no pull harness, basically designed so the dogs would not pull. If you teach your dog basically carry that harness and have to leave them alone, that's prohibiting dogs for making any sharp movements with their back legs. But make sure, this can be done just under supervision, because you don't want to leave the dog and step the harness when you are not supervised her. And of course, if nothing going to work, invisible fence would be a great solution for this situation. But again, all this, jumping, barking, biting, and whatever behavior problem can be, just the symptoms. Remember, meeting the dog's physical, mental, and social needs will address cause of any behavior problems in dogs, including the few which you're complaining about and the few which may accept. This is the Vladae.
1-866-405-8405 to talk to the world-famous Russian dog wizard.
I saved that call. He just called us to let us know if his problem is resolved.
Always adopt, don't declaw.
This is Animal Radio
Network.
This is Animal Radio, baby.
If this is your first time joining us on Animal Radio, well, welcome. We're the dream team of experts. Well, I'm not.
Who is? You're not.
I'm just the airbag here. I'm like a ringmaster. The experts really, Dr. Debbie answering your vet medical questions. Vladae, the world famous Russian dog wizard. Vinny Penn, animal communicator. Joy Turner, Susan Sims, Bobbie Hill. Even Ladybug, the studio stunt dog. She has more experience than I do in almost anything. You just got done doing a whole spay and neuter special down there at the clinic, huh?
Oh, and it continues. It continues. Yes. I mean, it's a tough time for folks. So, yeah, we've kind of dropped prices, make it more reasonable for folks to get their pets spayed and keep pet overpopulation under control as well. So, yeah.
You know, a lot of people think it's just the pet overpopulation thing. Actually, spaying and neutering your animal can reduce certain types of cancer.
Oh, yeah, both in females and in males. And a lot of people don't realize some of the behavioral problems that we can offset don't occur for years. So a lot of times, my 6-month-old male dog, he's fine. He doesn't need to be neutered. Wait a couple years. The problems will set in. So, yeah, I like to catch them when we can, 6 months or so.
Well, I wish we could have been there to get our outdoor cat neutered this week. We had to go into another place because we're nowhere near each other in reality. You think we're across each other in a studio? You're in Las Vegas, Nevada, actually, where it's probably god hot today. And we take our cat, this studio cat that's just been hanging around outside, to the vet to get it neutered, and we find out that it's FIV positive, which is not necessarily a death sentence, but it is a dangerous disease. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Yes, and I remember when we were talking about this, how I was kind of saying, let's get this fella tested, because a lot of outdoor cats, especially male cats, can have viral disease like FIV. It's kind of like AIDS in people, but it doesn't necessarily cause the degree of debilitation that we see with the people. But yeah, it affects a lot of the immune system effects. So frequent infections, a lot of dental problems, respiratory infections, digestive problems. And
how is it transmitted? Is it saliva? Is it blood? What is that? That's what everyone's asking.
Yeah, generally by saliva and blood. So mostly for the male cats that are outside, unneutered, they're out spatting and fighting. And when they bite each other, they pass this virus along. So, yeah, that's the main way it's passed.
Can they live a full life?
In some cases, they generally do have a slightly shorter lifespan, but not quite as bad as a cat that is feline leukemia positive. So if you keep in mind all the special needs that an FIV positive cat has, they can live a reasonably long life. You just have a little extra work on your hands to keep them healthy and to be very vigilant for some of those problems along the way.
Do I have to worry about them sharing a food bowl with a cat that's not infected?
Not generally, although I do like to make sure we test the kitties in the same household because intimate close contact, it has to be very close contact generally to pass this virus. Now, I wasn't sure. Are you bringing this kitty in the house now?
Well, we actually opted.
No.
We found a wonderful sanctuary, a place called the Cat House on the Kings.
That takes FIV positive cats.
If you're in the Fresno area, if you're listening on KYNO AM 1300 or on XM satellite radio, anywhere in Central California, you want to adopt an animal, look at this place. They have 700 cats. Amazing facility.
Wow.
There's a video on YouTube. We're going to link to it from animalradio.com. But they have healthy cats. They have older cats. They have young cats. Dogs, too. They all seem to get along. It's really a phenomenal experience. And YouTube is really the only way you can see the experience without driving out there. And there's a great video online. It's called The Cat House on the Kings. And we'll link to it from animalradio.com. And we'll try to have them on in the next few days,
I want to check in. I checked in with Tux the other day, and they said he was doing well, so I want to check in with him.
Living with those other FIV cats.
Yes.
They'll have a happy life there.
Yes.
Good stuff. Dr. Debbie, are you ready to answer some calls?
I sure am. Let's get to it.
Okay. 1-866-405-8405. We'll do it next.
You're listening to Animal Radio. You can learn more at animalradio.com. Log on. Learn more.
Hi, this is Anne-Marie Lucas from Animal Precinct in the ASPCA, and when I'm not out busting bad guys for abusing animals, I am home listening to Animal Radio.
This is
Animal Radio, baby.
One 866-405-8405. Just explain to a listener that our cat is named Uh-Oh. We named the cat Uh-Oh because... Why did we name the cat Uh-Oh? I guess the mom sounded like she was saying Uh-oh or something like that. You want to get that phone there? Go ahead. 1-866-405-8405. Do you have an animal with a strange or funny name? How did they get that name? We'd love to hear it. We were surfing the web. We were playing this $1 million contest where you send your pictures in and they judge the world's cutest dog. We put Ladybug. Oh, do we got to do that?
Of course you did.
We put Ladybug in there, and there's 1 million ladybugs. That's a pretty common name. Uh-oh, not so common. What are your weird or strange names? 1-866-405-8405. Hi, who's this?
Hello.
Hi, who is this?
Hey, my name's Deborah.
Hey, how are you doing, Deborah?
Oh, stuck in my truck.
Stuck in your truck. Do we need to send help for you, Deborah?
I'm not quite that, my bottom's not quite that big, but no, I just ride to Salt Lake City this weekend. But
you got a long haul.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have 2 dogs.
Yes.
I have Jakey Poo Poo, the demonic blue heeler. You can imagine where the poo poo came from.
Sure.
Then I have a Catahoula leopard dog, and his registered name is Mississippi Mojo.
Mississippi Mojo and Jakey Poo Poo. Or did they travel with you?
The big boy Mojo did. I don't have my own truck anymore, but he had 1 million miles on him.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow. That's a high mileage dog, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's more than you, did you say?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But Jakey barks at oncoming traffic, which is problematic in a truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We hear about that a lot.
That would get annoying after a while.
Yeah.
Well, they're herding breeds, but basically all they want to herd now is bacon.
I can understand that. As I get older, that's all I want to herd either. Well, thank you for your names today. Can we send them a toy? A small toy?
Sure.
Okay, hold on for 1 second. Here, I think one of your bedazzled sequins fell off your stethoscope there. I don't want the dog to eat it.
Pardon me.
1-866-405-8405. Dr. Debbie answering your vet medical questions. Vladae, the world famous and NPR famous Russian dog wizard. Still trying to figure out how he got on NPR, all things considered. Seems like they're like a journalism monument.
Oh, it's like when you're on there, you've made it.
And
he's big time now.
Really
I tell you, he's very famous.
He really is. And if you want to talk to him before he defects from Animal Radio, 1-866-405-8405. Also, animal communicator Joy Turner. Bobbie working on more story. She has some story about monkeys and Metallica, and she won't tell me all the details on it. So I'm going to listen.
Yeah,
I'm going to actually stick around.
Metallica mix.
It's very strange. Apparently they do. Let's hit the phones. We have Ann on the phones. Hi, Ann.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Where are you today?
I'm in Clovis, California.
Oh, near Fresno. Lovely Fresno.
Right, yes.
What can we do for you?
I have a question, and it's possibly if dogs could be allergic to black mission figs. And I'll be real brief. I have a little miniature rat terrier, weighs about 10 pounds, 2.5 years old. Very, very active. Last Monday we noticed, or 2 weeks ago Monday, we noticed she was dragging her back leg a little bit. By Tuesday she couldn't stand up. We had to put a sling under her back legs. She was just dragging them. Took her to the vet. They did that test where they pinched her legs all the way up to the middle of the back. There was no flinching. She was like completely paralyzed for 2 days. I thought I was going to have to put her down. The doctor tried a dose of DMSO along with, had been given her prednisone.
Okay.
This was on a Thursday. By Friday, she was able to stand on her legs a little bit. By Saturday, she was walking a little wobbly. By Sunday, she was running and chasing the dog along the fence. Now, is there a possibility, because a year ago we almost lost her, and it's exactly a year ago, and they never could find out what was wrong with her then, but she just didn't eat. She was listless and dehydrated and everything.
Okay. And you're concerned about the figs being a possible cause of that?
Possibly, or else could she have had, the vet said he took x-rays, there was nothing that jumped out at him, but possibly a ruptured disc or a dislocated disc, but could she recover that quickly?
Well, possibly, yeah.
Really?
And when we talk about disc problems in dogs, it's a spongy little cushion between the bones right below the spinal cord. So if one of those very suddenly impacts the spinal cord, causes a lot of pain, can lead to sudden paralysis, some pets can respond very quickly and very favorably to steroids, such as prednisone or dexamethasone. So that's possible. There are some more obscure things that can cause maybe a temporary paralysis. But if with that therapy that he prescribed, she improved, I would actually have some faith perhaps that we may have a bad back and, something to watch for in the future, because a lot of pets can go on to have future episodes with their back. Okay. Whether or not that year prior that was related to that, I don't know. But some pets with early back problems will be uncomfortable. They just don't act themselves. They may be grumpy even and not necessarily show signs of paralysis. So, I can make a case for that perhaps. Generally, I can tell you figs are pretty harmless to dogs unless they eat lots of them, and then you get nice mushy poops.
Okay. But I thought possibly, because it was exactly almost to the day. But so then we're looking at a disc, probably a back problem.
Very likely. And, I can make some really weird diagnosis out there. There are some types of, like moldy foods that can actually they have basically a mycotoxin, a type of a fungus that is toxic to the neurologic system. So some pets can have that if they get into old dairy products, garbage, even some old nuts. Sometimes things like that can cause those problems. So that's a possibility, but that's kind of a far stretch. And usually we have some pretty good information that a pet's kind of gotten into some things they shouldn't to cause that. So yeah, I would definitely be sure that with your rat terrier that we're watching things that can be signs of back problems, reluctance to jump up and down, and just make special accommodations. Be ready that if we do have future back things, this is definitely not a pet we want to be very athletic, jumping off high areas in the home. So we use a little extra caution, maybe even use a harness, for walking purposes. So that would be my guess there, Ann.
Your guess there, okay. Like I said, I was curious, but it's unbelievable. I mean, we were looking at little doggy carts on the internet, and even thought possibly we're going to have to put her down.
Well, I'm glad it turned out like it did. I mean, that's it's to make a recovery like that is great.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh. And thank you very much for your call today, calling from Fresno, California, listening on KYNO AM 1300. Thank you. 1-866-405-8405 to talk to anyone on the Dream Team right now.
Dogs or cats, horse or emu, animals are people too.
Matthew Harris, a researcher at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, has discovered chickens with something extra. Teeth! Lots of teeth. Some scientists believe that ancient genetic DNA tendencies can resurface after being dormant for years. Tooth growth in birds has been researched, debated, and often ridiculed for 200 years. Harris and his partner were researching a mutant strain of chickens who rarely survive when they discovered the teeth, which look a lot like baby teeth in alligators, which happen to be birds' closest living relative. Why these particular chickens develop teeth is unknown, but Harris says it's like finding gold in a bathroom. Or finding teeth in a chicken, I guess. I'm Britt Savage for Animal Radio. Animals are people too. Animal Radio.
Hi, this is Clive Pierce from HGTV. You're listening to Animal Radio. Please remember to spay and neuter your pets.
Listen closely. That's the sound of peace of mind. Peace of mind that comes in convenient, pre-measured packets of Safeguard Canine Dewormer. Just sprinkle the granules on your dog's food twice a year to protect him against the major types of canine intestinal worms. Monthly heartworm prevention programs alone are not enough. Find out how to get the upper hand on intestinal worm infections by visiting www.safeguardfordogs.com.
Is your credit card debt out of control and you don't know what to do? I'm Ted Brower, founder of Debt Settlement USA. Contrary to what you may hear from other advertisers, there is no secret program that can magically eliminate your debt. But Debt Settlement USA does have an answer. We have perhaps the most experienced team in the industry. We've negotiated and settled over $150 million of debt for people just like you. If you have over $12,000 of credit card debt, call right now for a free consultation. Debt Settlement USA built its reputation on one simple fact. We help our clients cut their debt. Find out how we can help you reduce your balances and your monthly payments.
Call Debt Settlement USA at 1-888-551-7788. If you're having trouble with credit card debt, call right now. Call 1-888-551-7788. That's 888-551-7788.
Let's face it, life happens. From spills to pet stains, One Shot Plus Multi-Purpose Cleaner attacks everyday stains, eliminating the need for other cleaning products. Pet stains, crayon marks, mildew, One Shot, and it's gone. Safe for the environment, your pets, and your family. Call 1-800-874-7070 and mention Animal Radio. That's 1-800-874-7070. Or go to OneShotPlus.com to get yours now.
You're listening to Animal Radio.
Welcome all. It's Animal Radio. 1-866-405-8405. Guido, were you even alive when Procol Harum came out with this? It's like a new song to you, isn't it? Dr. Debbie.
Do you know that?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I have to throw in rock and roll trivia for you here.
Oh, please. Because you are like a bevy of rock and roll knowledge is what you are.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. It is the most requested song on UK radio.
Oh, really? Procol Harum?
Procol Harum's Whiter Shade of Pale.
Oh.
Interesting
to know. Interesting to know.
I don't know what you can do with that information, but there it is.
I was saying that Dr. Debbie was dancing to that as we came out of the break there, and she has her... what do you call that? Bedazzled? Is that bedazzled?
Bedazzled, yeah.
Bedazzled stethoscope today, which is kind of cute.
That's
She'll
cool.
Be answering your questions
it's
in just a few.
blinged out.
It's like it's very shiny, and you know how we like shiny things here.
It's like sequined.
We had a feral cat around here. Not feral, I want to say a stray cat.
No,
very
stray,
docile cat that was like Slater. Not our cat, but we fed it. It would come over and spend most of the time over here. And
Sucker.
It wasn't neutered, though. We were very upset about this. Came over and it was getting a little bit aggressive. And we took it to the vet to get neutered. And when it was at the vet, we
found How do you like that?
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't know if they know immediately. I thought it would be very visible immediately, but it looks like he's still intact.
Well, he's probably just a little swollen.
It hurts down there. And he probably is not feeling as aggressive as he was before. Well, while he was there, we found out that he is FIV positive, and this is sort of the feline equivalent to AIDS. But it means that he can live a regular life.
He can live a regular life, but he should not be left outdoors because he can infect other cats. You can inoculate against it, and he should be not left out because he has a suppressed immune system. He can get ill from a little cold, and he needs to be kept indoors.
We have a lot of studio animals around here. We didn't want to subject them to the possible FIV infection.
No, because it'll transfer. And what does FIV stand for?
Feline
immuno something virus. I don't know.
That's good, Hal.
Yeah. But it's not good. Dr. Debbie, she's like hand signaling through the booth. She's not in the studio right here, but she's looking through.
Okay, so it's not good.
It's not good
for it.
Yes. So we had to find a place for this cat that accepts FIV animals where they can live together.
Was that?
It actually was very easy, but we found a great one. A great one near Fresno, California called the Cat House on the Kings, and the Kings being the Kings River. And you went out there, Judy, yesterday to drop Tux off.
I drove him out there, and I was amazed at this facility. I mean, I walked in, and as soon as you come in the gate, you have to watch where you step because there's cats all over.
How many cats are there? Between 500 and 700, did you say?
She has over 700 cats.
700 cats. She's not a hoarder. She's a rescue. Huge.
It's 12 acres. Yeah. They're cageless, and there were dogs. There were at least, I don't know, 2 dozen dogs.
They're free-range cats.
They are free-range, and a lot of them looking for homes. If you're looking for a cat or a dog, I want to encourage people to visit their website. And I believe it's cathouseonthekings.com. However, I can't verify that right now. cathouseonthekings.com, and we'll link to it from animalradio.com. If you're looking for a pet, if you're a truck driver and you pass through this area, this is a great place to check out.
She had Chihuahuas, she has Siamese, she has
babies.
Burmese, she has Polydactyl, the one with all the extra toes. She's got beautiful cats and dogs there. She had Australian Shepherd puppies, the Merle ones with blue eyes. She's got everything.
We'll be talking more about her and what she does in the upcoming weeks, but we wanted to hip you to her, let you know that she exists there, and we'll link to her from animalradio.com.
She also has a great YouTube video that really shows the place that we'll put a link up on the website. You got to
check out this YouTube video.
Yeah.
We'll link to that also from animalradio.com. Bobbie Hill working feverishly on news over there. What are you doing?
Well, we have some misconceptions when it comes to your dog, and we will debunk them. We will do our own version of myth-busting when the news comes up.
1-866-405-8405. We have Imani on the phone. Hi, Imani.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, thanks.
How can we help you?
Well, I have a racing greyhound puppy.
Oh.
She's from the racing stock. I purchased her back in May. I bought her when she was 3 months old. But the catch comes in, the people that's in the racing greyhound business, they usually purchase their dogs and leave them on the greyhound farm to be raised until they're adults or old enough to be trained for the track. So what I'm doing is I'm having her as a pet first, then an athlete. They're usually athletes first and pets. So my question is, I've been told that by a lot of different breeders that it wouldn't work for her. Most dogs that are raised home first, it doesn't work for them, and they don't get along right with other dogs and things like that. And I'm just kind of confused. I was just thinking that maybe anything's possible. I was just thinking maybe like it's up to the dog's, the dog genes and the dog's heart desire to want to run and race. Mm-hmm. I'm just kind of confused about that.
Okay. I guess one of the questions, I'm kind of curious. Have you worked with racing dogs before? Do you have experience with that?
No, actually, you know what? It's been my dream to actually own one, but I didn't want to adopt one. I wanted my own dog so I can, put her in the to race her. But I'm not going to train her, but I'll send her back to the breeder that I got her from. But I've done a lot of investigation. I know a lot about the racing business, but I haven't, been involved in it with my own dog like I am now for the first time.
And I'd have to say I'm not terribly familiar with the racing greyhound industry, so I don't have any insider information about what their practices are and what they do and don't want. But I can tell you from a lot of just general dog training realms that if a dog has a job and they live and breathe that job, they become very good at it. And examples of that will be police dogs. They may be housed as a family pet, but there's certain limitations there. They're not the same as a pet. They have a little different way that they deal with the household and the people in the home. Police dogs good retriever dogs are actually the same thing. So I could see that a problem would occur if we had a dog that was very much a pet first and then goes to training later, because you can't undo some of those early impressions. For raising greyhounds, one of the big thing is the dogs have to chase that little bunny. And if they have experiences where they're actually playing with toys, or they have the opportunity to catch some of those objects, I've heard anecdotally that can actually ruin the greyhound, because they always have to have that drive to want to get to that little bunny. And when they do, it really disrupts things, and it can really affect their ability to run and to race. So I'm not really sure about how bad that could be a problem, but I could foresee that as a canine athlete, kind of living and breathing the world is really all that important. An example I can give you is my own my little guy, my Labrador. He was a wonderful retriever. He went to a training camp, came away, the breeder wanted to buy him back and give me $5,000 for my own dog because he had great training potential. As a pet, he said he was going to lose all that. And he did. He lost a good amount of it. But had he gone on to become a retriever and worked in that circuit, he could have become very good in that. So there's different accommodations you make when you have a pet that you love as a pet, and one if you're really serious about getting him into some of these different activities. So I guess I would be maybe a little less optimistic that, that baby becoming a racer.
Well, the breeder that I purchased her from, which was a well-known breeder in Texas, well, he said anything's possible. He said I could give it a try. He said he's on the few that he has raised in the house, and then the ones that are raised in the farm and runs. And he said the ones in runs, which is because the ones in runs, they get, they have their free will to run. And then per se, the one that I don't have that much land or anything like that for her to run in. But he said the ones in the runs didn't turn out any better than the ones that he raised in the house. So that was a good thing for me to know, because she's not as active as the ones that are raised on the farm. And then he also said that he thinks that once I send her back, because it will be early enough, she'll be 10 months old, that he thinks that she would adapt pretty good, the change of environment. From her going from a house to, being crated and being put in a pen and a run and with other, hundreds of dogs barking and stuff like that. He said it'll probably take her a while, but she will eventually adapt.
I think you're right on. I think anything is possible. Doubtful, but anything is possible.
Yeah. So, I'm going to give it a try, and I'll know if she turns out to be not so good, then I'll know to do it the regular way, to buy one and just leave it at the farm.
Hey, Monty, will you call us back and let us know how it worked out?
I surely will.
Okay, I appreciate your call today.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for calling. 1-866-405-8405.
Animal Radio is brought to you by
One Shot Plus Multi-Purpose Cleaner attacks everyday stains, pet stains, crayon marks, mildew. One shot and it's gone. Call 1-800-874-7070 or go to oneshotplus.com to get yours now.
It's Vinnie Penn, your party animal, coming at you on Animal Radio. I was just thinking the other day about something very interesting. I've admitted here on the air before, when I was very, very, very little, to being afraid of dogs, which is why I understand my daughter's fear of dogs. And then, of course, we wound up owning two, and they were two of the greatest loves of my life, my two dogs, Rocky and Cruiser. But I was remembering the other day that what doesn't help, because somebody almost said it to my daughter, and I stopped them, is when you're told, oh, don't be afraid of dogs, they can smell fear, No 6-year-old wants to hear the word. They can smell it. They'll know I'm afraid. Oh, and if they smell, I remember someone specifically saying to me, they'll smell the fear. First of all, fear doesn't even have a scent. But somebody said to me, they'll smell it on you, and it drives them up. Because next thing you know, you're walking by a dog, and you're like, I'm not afraid of you. You certainly can't smell that fear. What are you looking at? There's no reason to look. And there is this weird kind of electric in the air current thing happens that a dog will start barking. I remember one time walking by a dog. I'm not afraid. I'm not, just looking straight ahead. I'm not afraid. And he started looking at him, side eyes at me. Well, you look, you're walking like a young boy who's afraid of me. And now I'm going to give you something to be afraid of. What is it with they can smell the fear thing? I don't even understand that. And if that were the case, wouldn't dogs just be beefing with skunks? Wouldn't it just be something out of West Side Story? The dogs and the skunks rather than the jets and the sharks? Don't tell little kids that dogs can smell the fear. That is Vinnie Penn's mantra on this week's Party Animal.
This is
Animal Radio.
Hi, this is Eric Dane on Animal Radio, reminding you to spay and neuter your pets.
This is an Animal Radio News Update.
I'm Bobbie Hill for Animal Radio. What do you do when you have 3 dolphins that absolutely positively have to be there overnight? You call FedEx. That's what Chicago's Brookfield Zoo did. According to the Chicago Sun-Times, the trio of dolphins were shipped along with their marine mammal curator, Rita Stacey, up to the Twin Cities. The dolphins were described as, quote, very comfortable and relaxed during their flight. Stacey said the dolphins underwent training exercises to get them used to the air travel. They will be back at the Brookfield Zoo next spring after a major overhaul of their exhibit there. And there are a lot of myth conceptions when it comes to pet health. Here are some popular dog myths. 1, a cold, wet nose means a healthy dog. Wrong.
That's not true.
And while a warm, dry nose doesn't mean your dog is sick, in fact, a dry nose has nothing to do with your dog's health. If there is a runny nose, on the other hand, you should go see a vet. 2, dogs don't see color. Wrong. Dogs can indeed distinguish colors, and different breeds tend to see different colors a little more intensely. And 3, dogs can heal themselves by licking their wounds. This one's a sort of. And there's a certain extent that the dog's licking can, in fact, heal the wound. However, excessive licking can cause infection. That's our myth-busting for dogs for today. And positive reinforcement works not only on husbands, works on cats. Behaviorists say you can train your cat with simple positive reinforcements, no matter if it's a kitten or an adult. Here are a few easy tips to succeed. Keep an eye out for your cat's good behavior, like using the litter box or scratching post. Give the cat a reward, a treat or affection or a toy to encourage the good behavior. Don't antagonize or play games that tease the cat or encourage biting. Remember to keep potentially poisonous plants out of your cat's reach. I'm Bobbie Hill for Animal Radio. Get more breaking animal news at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update.
Do you owe too much money on your credit cards? Do you have over $12,000 in debt and don't know how you'll pay it off? I have a proven program that can help solve your debt problems. I'm Ted Brower, founder of Debt Settlement USA. Credit card debt can cause serious financial hardship, especially if you have loss of income, you're going through a divorce, or you have costly medical bills. Before things get worse, call Debt Settlement USA. We'll show you how to get rid of your debt faster than you think, without bankruptcy and without taking out another loan. Just call Debt Settlement USA right now for a free consultation. Your call is confidential and there's no obligation.
Call Debt Settlement USA at 1-888-551-7788. If you're having trouble with credit card debt, call right now. Call 1-888-551-7788. That's 888-551-7788.
This is
Animal Radio, baby.
That's pretty, Hal.
Oh,
you heard that too, huh?
Well,
hey, at least
my whole right ear is now full of, like ring out my headphones. You're terrible. It's a good thing I was raised with brothers who would encourage you. If it was, oh please, yours was such a girly little effort there, Hal, you would have been thrown out of the room. You would have been graded on it. It would have been rated below par.
You know what? You would
have been penalized.
You ought to hear Judy after a good dinner.
I wouldn't have got kicked out of the room.
Good girl.
Now I'm lightheaded.
Too much oxygen, Hal? Your brain's just not used to it, huh?
Celebrating our connection with our pets. From all across the globe, this is Animal Radio. And here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
Just a few weeks back, the station fire in Los Angeles, California, about to jeopardize our very own radio towers.
Uh-oh.
We wouldn't be here this weekend if it had. So it
Mount Wilson, popular place.
Curse or blessing, you may be thinking right now. I don't know. But we're very glad that both the observatory and the towers are safe. Horrible fire caused a lot of evacuations. And, wherever you live, there's going to be some kind of muck you'll have to deal through. Mm-hmm. Whether it's hurricanes in Florida or
tornadoes, fires, floods, there's
earthquakes.
Earthquakes,
Always something going on.
Yeah.
And the best way to not end up at the vet's hospital seeing your vet because of something is to safeguard your world and sort of practice preventative and preparedness methodology. Keep your world safe. And there's a brand new book out. It landed on my desktop the other day. And it's the reason I looked at it so closely is the book that preceded it from this publisher is a best-selling book. You learned a lot of the dog tricks from the book 101 Dog Tricks.
Yes, I'm still working on it. We're teaching my stunt dog all kinds of little tricks.
So we get this book from the publisher, Quarry, the Safe Dog Handbook. It is a phenomenal, colorful handbook, how to safeguard your world. And we got the author on, Melanie Monteiro. Hi, Melanie. How are you doing?
Hi. Thanks for having me on.
All these fires going on here, I'm wondering if you could give us some practical advice for being prepared, maybe some tips out of the book.
Oh, sure. It's very important that your family evacuation plan and your emergency preparedness plan includes your pets. So there's a number of things you can do to be prepared. And the first thing, of course, is to have an evacuation kit prepared for your pet as well as for yourself. And this would include a supply of food and water that's good for about 3 to 5 days. You want to have a spare leash. You would want to have make sure that your dog's collar and ID tags are current with the cell phone number. I like to have an emergency tag on my dog's collar that has also the number of somebody that is not us, a friend or family member who lives out of the area that can be contacted as well. And then, of course, in your kit, you can include vaccination records, of course, your microchip information, any medications, and very important to have a photo of your pet, because you never know if you were to become separated from your pet, you might need to have a photo handy right away to post to prove that the pet is yours if you are reunited. So these are all things that you should have in a big Tupperware or something, a big lidded storage container with your own kit if you live in these wildfire-prone regions like we do, and have that ready. So at the first sign of, if you're put on voluntary evacuation or the fire's coming closer to you, get your kit out, get it ready, and just start hatching out a plan for what you're going to do.
I'm a super procrastinator, and we've had about 1 million guests come on and say, get this kit together, do it. I still haven't done it.
Yeah, where's yours, Hal?
Hal, you have to. I had to evacuate.
Yeah, it's also just so important to do one for yourself as well, because there are things, I have lived in Topanga Canyon for many years, and, we're ready to go at any moment. Yeah. And we've been told, even in our own kits, have an extra pair of, you never know what shoes you're going to be wearing, right?
Sure.
Have a pair of tennis shoes in your car and extra water and, just a few things to get you by. And, if you get to, if you don't have a place to go, you need to have a plan for your animals.
You can't go to a shelter.
Shelters they might be inundated. The shelters might be inundated with other animals, and you might not be able to stay in an evacuation location with your own pet. So,
that's right.
A lot of them don't take animals, and of course this is getting better and better. And while we're on this topic, just one more thing I love to tell everybody is it's very important to have a buddy system in your neighborhood. A number of neighbors that know how to get into your home. They know your alarm. If you have a security system, they know how to get in. They know where the leash is. And your dog is comfortable with them, because you could be at the office. They could close an access road to your house.
Oh,
you
wow.
might be separated from your pets.
Mm-hmm.
No, Melanie's right, because that's exactly what happened to several of my neighbors back in 2003 with the cedar fire.
Oh, yeah.
We all had to evacuate out of here. We all have kits now.
Yeah, I will after the show today. Now, you actually teach pet first aid workshops and emergency care. Mm-hmm. Is that something we should know? Should we know how to give our animals CPR?
We should. Everybody should know basic first aid. You know, a lot of people, I remember when my sister had a baby, she made me run out and learn infant CPR. You know, we take all these precautions when children come into our lives, and I don't think people think, you know, we have a tendency to think our dogs are going to be fine. And, you know, the truth is, most of the time they are. Most of the time we have dogs forever, and, you know, we don't face emergencies. But
is there anything in your book about this?
There's a whole first aid chapter, illustrated first aid chapter in my book. And I include first aid. To me, there are 3 cardinal rules of preparedness that we as pet owners should follow. And one of them, the first one is to always have access to your emergency phone numbers at all times. Meaning, Hal, right now you should be able to whip out your cell phone and show me the number of your regular vet.
You know what? I don't even know where my cell phone is. I have to have someone call my cell phone.
Nice job, Hal.
Yes, okay, sorry about that.
You're great.
Yeah.
Help us, Melanie.
You should have at all times the number of your regular vet, the number of the after-hours vet, because you never know what time of day. You should have the number of the poison, ASPCA poison control hotline, your pet's microchipping company, your pet's microchip number. These are things you should, you know, if you're like me and you have your dog out with you wherever you go, you never know when there's going to be an emergency, and you need to call ahead as you're on your way to the emergency room. What if your dog has been bit by a rattlesnake? You can't assume they're going to have antivenom waiting. They might send you to a different clinic. You know, so, I mean, it's important to have your numbers ready for you. It's important to have a pet first aid kit, and it's important to know the basics of pet first aid. And it's not hard. It sounds like a whole lot of work, but really, it's really very simple.
Well, you make it very simple in the Safe Dog Handbook, which also includes dog proofing, puppy proofing basics, emergency first aid guide, complete toxic plant guide, people food that are dangerous, safety tips for flying, driving, and boating, seasonal safety, a great book. Please check it out, the Safe Dog Handbook. I have 10 copies to give away for this complete guide to protecting your pooch indoors and out. The author, Melanie Monteiro, joining us. 1-866-405-8405. Head on down to your bookstore. Ask them for this. If they don't have it, that's because they sold out. The book, as I mentioned, from the publisher previous to this, is a #1 bestseller. Has been for months and months on Amazon. So I'm thinking big things for this book. Grab it while you still can. The Safe Dog Handbook. Melanie, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
More Animal Radio on the way.
You're listening to Animal Radio. You can learn more about today's guest at animalradio.com. Log on. Learn more.
Let's face it, life happens. From spills to pet stains, One Shot Plus multi-purpose cleaner attacks everyday stains, eliminating the need for other cleaning products. Pet stains, crayon marks, mildew, One Shot, and it's gone. Safe for the environment, your pets, and your family. Call 1-800-874-7070 and mention Animal Radio. That's 1-800-874-7070. Or go to OneShotPlus.com to get yours now.
Hi, this is Bill Maher. Every year, millions of animals wander away from home, and tragically, most are never reunited with their family. Now there's a way to help a stray animal find its way home. It's called Pets 911. Simply call 1-888-PETS-911 and do your part to help ensure a better future for our animal friends.
For more information, go to pets911.com. Proud to be a partner of Animal Radio.
Is your dog a lucky dog? My dog is. She eats Lucky Dog cuisine, home-cooked meals that come straight to my door. Give your dog the same natural ingredients you would if you had the time to cook for them every day. Feed your dog what Animal Radio feeds their lucky dog. Lucky Dog cuisine. Great ingredients, no preservatives, straight from Lucky Dog's kitchen to your freezer. Visit LuckyDogCuisine.com for tail-wagging home-cooked meals made with love. LuckyDogCuisine.com. That's LuckyDogCuisine.com.
Does your pet become anxious when you leave the house? Do certain sounds like thunder or sirens cause your pet to feel uneasy? If your pet barks excessively or is an out-of-control chewer, you'll find the solution in Classic Cuts by Music My Pet. The principal performer for Disney's Baby Einstein has created Classic Cuts with special sounds to help calm, soothe, and relax your pet. A calm pet is a happy pet. To order your Classic Cuts, visit www.musicmypet.com or call 1-877-PET-CALM.
This is
Animal Radio.
That is the import, I believe, of the 5 Stair Steps Ooh Child with the dog in the background.
I like that.
Don't hear that on the American version. It is Animal Radio, and we're all guilty of feeding our dogs and cats sometimes whatever we're eating. We'll give them a little bit.
Just a little.
And we think that it really doesn't make a big deal. Okay, what is one potato chip going to make a difference in this?
Cookie.
One little cookie or one little piece of hot dog?
Makes a potato chip junkie is what it makes.
It really does. We found out that if a 10-pound cat ate just 1 ounce of cheddar cheese, this is like a little block. And this cheese, we generally think the cats might enjoy this.
Right.
It would be equivalent as if a person ate 3.5 hamburgers or 4 whole chocolate bars.
Whoa.
Their little body, it makes the ratios so much different. And
yeah.
How about this? You think cats love milk? You know, it's actually not that good for them. It kind of messes with their stomach a little bit. Is it the lactose? What is it?
Yeah, a lot can actually be lactose intolerant. So milk can actually cause digestive upset in cats, believe it or not.
If you give a 10-pound cat 1 cup of milk, the human equivalent, it has the same number of calories as 4.5 hamburgers or 5 chocolate bars for a person.
Whoa. A glass of milk equals that?
Yeah, you think we're doing them good, or we're thinking like this little potato chip, this little ruffle chip. For my 10-pound cat is the caloric equivalent of a half of a hamburger or a half of a chocolate bar.
Gee,
and people a lot of times feed pizza crust to dogs and pieces of meat. You know, all of that adds up so quickly, and it really does. It's a huge multi-calorie snack there.
Now, are we worried just about the calories, just about them getting fat, or there are other health reasons we shouldn't be doing this?
Well, kind of a couple things. And not only the calories, but some of the fat content can make a pet more prone to digestive problems like pancreatitis. Also concerns with changes in blood sugar. And, you know, if you give a lot of sweets to dogs and cats, you know, you can have problems with potential diabetes. So you got to kind of watch those things. But, you know, the other thing we really create, and a lot of us don't mind it, but is the beggar.
The beggar bad dog.
We create the future demands for these yummy things.
And then they call up and they say, I can't get my dog to eat dog food anymore.
Yeah.
There you go. We'll take that call next.
So if I have this dog that's really lean and it runs around, is very active, and I say, a few potato chips and stuff won't hurt it because look at him, he's not fat. Should I worry about that?
Do you want me to punish her now, or would you want to wait until after the show? It's bad.
Let's get... Bad, Judy. Bad, Judy. It's kind of like being a good athlete. If you work out and go to the gym, can you still have a cupcake a day?
No, I guess not.
Should you?
In just a matter of a minute, we'll get you qualified for the Animal Radio Summer Giveaway with gifts from Celestron, Bissell, Disney, Litter Robot, Haagen-Dazs, and World's Best Cat Litter. You can qualify yourself 5 times daily over at the website at animalradio.com. Got to do it before September 30th.
Hurry up.
And let's get someone qualified on the phone right now at 1-866-405-8405. If you're not internet friendly, you didn't think the web would take off. And frankly, I didn't think it would either. That whole internet thing.
You're so bright, Hal.
If you're like me, go ahead, use the old phones. Give me a call right now. We'll get you qualified for the summer giveaway.
This is
Animal Radio.
Hey, you. The big superstar is here.
The big superstar is here, yeah.
You hear me well?
Yes, I do.
Okay. If I talk emotionally out of my heart, you still hear me well without any distortion?
Not only do I hear you, but I feel you. I feel you.
Boy, it sounds scary. You told me you're not gay.
No, I'm not gay. It doesn't. You don't have to be gay to feel somebody through the radio. You don't have to...
to feel somebody's pain, to feel somebody's love.
Passion, to feel their love. And you really have a way of getting people's emotions.
I really did. If you look at this NPR page,
yeah,
so
we were
many
talking
people
about that
love
earlier.
It, so hate it.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. We were discussing that.
Good job.
Do you know what that means? I mean, do you have any idea what All Things Considered on NPR, where you have landed? Do you have any idea what kind of celebrity you are?
You know, it's hard to believe, but I always knew in deeply in my heart. So I am celebrity. It just the moment is waiting to happen, and you haven't heard anything else. A lot of things is coming.
I believe we have Lynn on the phone. Hi, Lynn. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Very good. You're on with Vladae.
Okay. How you doing, Vladae?
Oh, I am doing great, Lynn. Thank you for calling, man. So how can I help you?
Well, I have a 8-month-old male Amstaff who he's really smart. He's a great dog, but I cannot get him to stop pulling on the leash really, really bad, to the point where I use the pinch collar, but he will go to the point of where his tongue will even turn blue, even with the pinch collar, and he just will not stop pulling. And I don't know what to do. Excuse me?
Okay, Lynn. I just came up before I stopped by the animal radio studio. I just finished one of my lessons. And when I came in, it was the second lesson. I showed to my client how to walk on the loose leash and all and other things. And she started with all this long conversation with me, what type of the problem she's having as far as walking on the leash, what works, what doesn't. I said her respectful. I said, Kathy, you know what? I don't want to hear it. I mean, just put the leash on the dog and get the dog outside. I'm gonna look at it. So it took 2 seconds to figure out what the wrong situation was, and 5 seconds to fix it. Unfortunately, things like that, you know, how to walk the dog on the loose leash would be much valuable to see rather than to explain. You know, if you go on YouTube, there is the video of me doing some type of Lynn, I mean, sometimes people confuse my humorous personalities for some type of the clownish or my kindness for weakness. I'm a very serious dog trainer, but I always like to do it in an entertaining way. I love that stuff. So one of the video is done by one of the radio stations. You will find the one. It's part 1, part 2. And look at the part 2 when I'm teaching how to walk on the loose leash. It's so easy. But verbally, I will explain you just like this. Number 1, I don't care whatever prong collar you have, you need to have a prong collar by company Herm Springer with quick release. Made from the steel, wonderful product, works 10 times better than the average prong collar which you can get from your regular store. If you don't know where to get it, you can Google it or go to the animalradio.com. We have all information. Number 2, the key is to have a slack on the leash. I know what you tell me. You don't go nutty momentarily when you put the leash on the dog. Try to stay calm, with confidence, with attitude. What the example to give you? Like a Russian tank in the American neighborhood. You know, like peacefully. Yeah, but you know, like attitude. You touch me, you're dead. So basically, very calm and sharply slack. Put the slack on the leash. Give a good slack. Once you get a good slack, momentarily turn around on the opposite. Like if the dog goes to the east, you turn around to the west. If the dog jumps to the north, you gotta go to the south. 180 degree, and sharply snap the leash and even jump through whole your body in the opposite direction. And make sure as soon as you've done it, slack the leash again and say, "Good girl, good boy," as nothing happened. The dog will not take it as emotionally negative because it's not the old-fashioned conventional yanking on the leash. You're basically using dog's orientation reflex. As a matter of fact, a lot of times dogs don't even see it comes from the owner because owner detached. Consequences in my methods detached from the owner in a lot of cases. The dog jumps forward without even knowing you're around because we know with you, Lynn, dogs do listen us when nothing better to do. If something better than listen us, like squirrel running on the streets or chihuahuas or cats, whatever it is, they just tell you, forget you, Lynn, you know, we have to take care of that issue. So that is why once the dog wants to go somewhere, instead of, I want you to listen to me very well, Lynn, instead of fighting, pulling the dog backwards, even in the pinch collar, you have to have attitude. Make my day. I'm waiting for that happy moment.
Okay.
You basically throw your leash toward the dog, increase the distance, increase the slack, and after turn around, pop, and after that slack again, cuckoo, as nothing happened, and look for the next challenge. In slack, pop, slack. Slack, pop, slack, and the key is in opposite direction. Lynn, please go on YouTube, find that video. If you will not find this video, shoot me an email, vladio@animalradio.com. I will send you that link.
We'll put a link up at the Animal Radio website, animalradio.com, to the YouTube video that he's talking about there. Yes, it's not a matter of just owning the leash. You need to know how to use it. That is so very important. And when you go into the stores, you need to ask somebody who knows how to use it. They need to know what they're selling, and they need to teach you how to use it. Is that right, Vladae? I hear that over and over from you.
It is right. It is exactly right. It's no matter tools, it's just one thing. In order to use the tool properly, you need to have a great expert beside you, because dog training people, it's like teaching how to drive the car. Education is important, reading the books is important, but you cannot really learn how to drive a car unless you have your daddy or boyfriend or husband or girlfriend sitting next to you, and telling you when to push the pedal, when to push the brake.
Vladae, the world-famous Russian dog wizard, is on Animal Radio. You can get in touch with any one of us here at the website at animalradio.com. All the links. Plus, we're twittering. Well, Bobbie's twittering for Animal Radio at twitter.com/animalradio. I guess that's all we have time for today. Have yourself a great week.
Bye.
See ya.
Always adopt, don't declaw.
This is Animal Radio Network.